Hi, my name is Gabriel Suarez, and today I will be presenting to you the Tableau 2 project. So just looking at this data source page, what you see here is just all the given information compiled up. Uh, I, I also decided to include the profit margin, which was mentioned. We didn't have to, but I decided to go ahead and do that anyways. In sheet 2 and sheet 3, I actually, include the profit margin as filters, and you'll see how I tie that back into everything, and I even go into how important the profit margin is. So let's get into it. I'm going to start on sheet 1. So looking at sheet 1, all this is just simply I compiled up all the items that we sell and their profitability. So looking at this, you can tell really quickly, really easily, which items are bringing in the most profit and which ones are bringing in the least. This kind of information, I think, from a business owner standpoint of view, would just be simply if certain budget cuts need to be made. You can see here facial tissues for Kleenex, that sort of thing. They're clearly the least profitable item we have. So if we wanted to allocate more time and resources into, say, the Nexus Humetrus, then we would look towards canceling out or getting rid of the facial tissues from Kleenex because they're the least profitable. So if we want to allocate more time and resources into the most profitable, I feel like that'd probably be the best decision we could do. So, just looking at this, as I said, to reiterate, it's just the list of items and which are the most profitable, which are the least profitable. So, this is really important in determining, if we do need to allocate more time and resources or labor into, maximizing profit, where would we start? So going into sheet 2. Sheet 2, here's when I begin using the profit margin aspect of things. So looking at these circles, right? Looking at this one, city is North Charleston. Their profit margin is 66 cents, right? So looking at that, that's pretty good. As you can see here, I have a filter. So just so you know, the filter will show you all of the cities in the U.S. that have a profit margin that are in the top 60 percentile. So it pretty much eliminates the bottom 40%. So another thing, if we do need to make budget cuts, most likely it shouldn't be coming from these places because these are in the top 60 percentile when it comes to profit margin. But that was kind of my thought process when I was doing this sheet. I was thinking to myself, does high profit margin necessarily mean it will yield high profitability? And that's actually something that I cover in sheet 3. So I really like how sheet 2 ties into sheet 3. Because in sheet 3, I'll go over that. It'll show the top 60 percentile states for total profitability. So looking at this, I'll take Missoula, for example, and also North Charleston. We'll look at these two, right? These two have considerably some of the largest profit margin among all the cities in the top 60th percentile. So now going on to sheet 3, as you see here, Missoula is not here and North Charleston is not here. So it kind of, made me question really what I was thinking in the beginning. My thought process before I even got to sheet 3 was I had this underlying assumption that if a city had a high profit margin, then they were probably going to be the more profitable cities or states or what have you. And I came to find that's not necessarily the case. There are many aspects that go into being profitable. Like looking at California, right? Their total sales was 253 million plus. That's pretty considerable considering, if you go back to sheet 2, there were 47 cents in the profit margin and 60 here, right? Which is still very good, but it wasn't like at the top range or the top mark like Missoula and North Charleston, which didn't even make the top 60 percentile for total profitability. So I just really like the correlation between sheet 2 and sheet 3. Now I'm going to move on to sheet 4, and I want you to realize this is a very simple sheet, I know, but I feel like for a business owner in determining, how to move forward, what's the best possible route for maximizing profit or reducing losses, this is actually a really simple sheet, but it's extremely effective. So what this is I take 2 years, I take the current year and the previous year and the total sales, right? So looking at the orange, this is the current year, 2018. right? And our total sales is 535 million plus, right? Looking at 2017, you can see just based off the coloring of the graph, 2017 we did considerably better for total sales. So, that might lead certain business owners to start questioning, hey, do we need to like start making adjustments and whatnot? And I thought that was perfect because looking at sheet one, right? If we were to make adjustments, if we wanted to make certain cuts at certain places, right? Where should we start? Well, we can see that this item right here, while profitable, we could probably be doing better. It's profitable, but it's the least profitable. It's not doing all that much for us. We could potentially be maximizing our resources if we eliminated this item and decided to allocate it into, one of the more profitable items. So that's something for business owners to consider. Another thing would be here, right? This only shows the top 60 percentile cities, the cities in the top 60 percentile for profit margin. So that means if I were to say adjust the filter to show all of the cities and their profit margins, then we could say, oh, hey, the new cities that would show up on this would be the bottom 40 percentile. And we could potentially, cut out those cities and decide to allocate our resources to opening up more branches in our more profitable cities, like say California, Texas, things of that nature. So that's just how I really like how my sheets kind of tie in together. I know sheet 4 is very simple, but it shows the importance, like if the company is on a bad track, which this one not necessarily is, but it just from, first glance, it doesn't look that great. Sales have decreased by about 300 million in total. So looking at that, if we did want to make a change, if we did want to maximize profit, we know where to start. We could start on specific items. We could start location. Geographics can play an important role in maximizing profit. So now we're going to go on to my dashboard, which is I just decided to compile all of the sheets. It was 4 sheets, and I felt like it kind of fit in nicely. Here in sheet 1, like I said, it's just the simple items and total profit for each item. As you can see here, these are the filters. Right here, if you wanted to adjust profit margins, that showed up on sheet 2. As you can see, now there's a reduced number of cities that are appearing, or circles, I should say, right? Or if I wanted to increase it even more, see, now you only have one city that reaches that percentile of profit margin. So, that's just something to consider for business owners. And, it's something that could be played around with if they decided they wanted to adjust their requirements for, moving forward with the company. If, say, they decided they wanted to show just every single city and their profit margins, they could do so, and they could look at this and analyze, hey, we have all of these starting out, right? And if we wanted to get more strict with our requirements to, decide which locations, will keep running, we can just make that simple adjustment. And you'll see there's less and less circles showing up, and those circles that begin to diminish early on, we could look to making those adjustments in those locations. And then here you have the story, which this I have all the sheets here and also the comments to go along with it. Oh, low battery. So these are all the comments to go along with it. Like I said earlier, sheet 1 just shows how profitable each product is. Sheet 2 shows which cities have a profit margin in the 60th percentile. Sheet 3, which states are in the 60th percentile of total profitability, and it also shows their total sales. And then sheet 4 just compares the current year to the previous year in total sales. And then, just the story right here. It was just the interactive dashboard for, users or business owners to have readily accessible for them to manipulate certain filters or requirements and whatnot. So yeah, so that is my Tableau project. I appreciate your time. Have a good day.